All right, is everybody ready? All right, now here we go. A one, a two, a one, two.
Let's get it on. Let's get it on. I love that intro song, dude. I'm feeling good. Happy Halloween, dude. Welcome back, everybody, to the Get Sunday Covered podcast. It's good to see you, Brandon. Another episode. Here we go, baby. Week 8 in the books, man. How's life? How's it looking?
Fucking,
How we doing?
I'm fucking great. I'm fucking great, bro. Like,
Looking good,
I'm,
man.
yeah, man, you're looking pretty fucking dapper yourself.
I look like something, you know?
You look like a fucking freak. Why don't you show them nails to the folks, huh?
You like that? Well, yeah, yeah. Well,
All right.
MGK in the building, baby.
Yeah, where's Megan, bruh?
I was trying to get her to do a guest spot, and she decided she wanted to go to bed instead. So
Uh, damn,
I'm trying.
bro.
But maybe we can get a picture up here eventually. But she was there. She did make a guest appearance tonight. We looked good, man. I'm feeling good. We had a great time, man. I don't know how your Halloween was, but like we went downtown Boise with some family, and we like passed out candy for a while. And when I say a while, we were on this street passing out candy for like 3 hours, man. Like they showed out. So many costumes, so many kids, so many families. It was so great. Like hands down, the best holiday, man. What did you guys get into?
Yeah, so I mean, we took the kiddo out for Halloween, got him some candy. Every year we go down with the wifey's family, down in Widefield and just kind of go down there. It's cool because Theo gets to be with like all of his cousins and everything like that. So that's what we did. And I mean, then we kind of bounced out of there about, we started about 5:45. We do a big little loop, got that done about 7. Then we shot up to my parents, surprised them with the little guy, and it's always fun to kind of see how he is. He loves Halloween. We all this year went as vampires, and yeah, squad shit.
Nice.
Can't really talk on a podcast with those in, so but I'm not gonna go. I'm also not gonna go spend $20 on vampire teeth that I'm gonna use once a year. So
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, we
I'd
wanted to get the
rather.
look of sucking each other's blood out. We got some blood going on, you know what I mean? It's cool,
Yeah, I
man.
mean, Theo had blood, and we drew crayon on like a blood crayon on him with So yeah, he looked like a real vampire, but man, he looked so cute, and it was fun. Got a shit ton of candy, filled up his little bucket. So, I mean, he's 2, almost 3. He doesn't need a crazy amount of candy, so doing just one lap is perfect for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like Halloween should be one of those holidays that is like it has to be on a weekend, you know what I mean? Like a Friday night or a Saturday night or something like that. Like Halloween in the middle of the week is kind of fucking whack, you know? Not just like
Yeah,
for the kids, but like for everybody. Like this is the coolest holiday. Like this should Tuesday night, man. Come on, get it together.
yeah. I mean, Theo loves Halloween. It's funny because he says Halloween. It's my favorite holiday, and we always just crack up.
Why I love
But
this
then I'm
kid.
like, I mean, so my mom and dad, they're pretty into Halloween, especially my mom. So she has like all these decorations and all these animatronics. And he loves going over there and just like seeing all the animatronics. And she
They
has
got like the
like
big,
this.
like exciting yard.
N not necessarily, but, like, she has, like, a swinging skeleton, and his name's Scully, and Theo just, like, is like, "Hi, Scully," and then he's like, "I wanna see him. I wanna see him," and it's just so funny to
Oh, I
see
love
him
that.
kind of interact with it, and then my mom and dad have, like, this scarecrow, and it's like a jump scare. If you put your hand in the bowl to pick out candy, it literally, like, goes from here, jumps up, and is like, "Ah," and just scares the piss out of kids. There was a couple years ago, um, when we were living there, I ended up, like, putting on my parents we all got an extra scarecrow costume, and I ended up, like, sitting in it like I was the fucking scarecrow, and there would be kids come by, and I would just scare the piss out of them. It was funny because earlier when we were down trick or treating in Whitefield, we literally saw as we were leaving to my parents, we literally saw some clown, I mean, chasing a kid, and this kid was booking it. This kid was scared shitless, and it was so funny to just see this kid sprint across and just book it down the street running away from this clown.
Love that. This is the best part, man. Like I'm telling you, like there's the amount of energy that goes into Halloween, dude. It's so much fun. Like I don't care. Like Christmas is cool with like the lights and the presents and all that stuff, but like Halloween is where it's at, man. Like
I
going out
love
with friends,
Halloween.
dressing up, like it's the best. It's the
Yeah,
best.
and this was, like, the first year we've really decided to do, like, family costumes, so it's kinda cool, and, it's kind of the first year where Theo kind of got to really understand the concept, and, it's cute to see him go up to doors, say "Trick or treat," "Thank you," "Happy
Sure.
Halloween," and him being so young, all these homeowners and places we're going, people that we're getting candy from, they're just like, "Oh my gosh, he's so adorable." So
Oh yeah, definitely. He is the cutest kid, by the way. I don't know how you made such a cute kid, but
I
he's cool. He's
don't
cool.
know. He's growing so crazy fast, and I mean, his birthday's in 2 weeks, and yeah, I'm freaking excited. We just put him in his first pair of skates, so I I ended up, we ended up getting him some hockey skates for his birthday, so he's been kinda getting used to those, so he's walking around the house in his skates, really just getting used to them. And for his
Yes.
birthday, we're gonna go take him ice skating, and,
Yes.
I'm fucking amped because come next year, he'll be able to kinda play and really be able to join everything that, I want him to, and I'll be able to coach him, and I'm fucking amped for that.
Love it, man. That's so great. Well, I hope you guys had a really good time. Everybody else, I hope you had a wonderful Halloween as well. We've got a great episode in store for you today. A lot of stuff to talk about. Same as always. We've got the weekly recap standings check. We're going to preview week 9 as well. Brandon's bets. We've also got some exciting announcements too. So let's jump into it, man. I want to start with a quick question for you, like we normally do. I know you've been paying attention because uh, there's been a lot of action, a lot of trades, a lot of movement in the league so far. I'm curious if you know so far, how many games do you think we've lost to injury from let's take the top 2 rounds of our draft this year. The top 20 players that we drafted, how many games do you think we've lost so far?
3.
And I don't mean like lost. I mean like how many players have been out?
Oh, I'm gonna go with 3. I'm thinking 3. I know it's definitely JJ, Chubb. I'm trying to think who the last one would be.
I don't mean players, I mean games. How many games have we lost to players that have been out?
I don't know, probably 4 or 5, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm just going to say that you're very far off. Um, through the first 2 rounds that we drafted, we're talking players like JJ, Austin Eckler, Cooper Cup,
Oh, yeah, I guess that's
Saquon,
true. Shit.
Chubb, Amon Ra, Travis Kelce missed one. Mark Andrews missed one.
God damn.
Yeah. So the first 2 rounds for the GSC draft this year, a lot of big names, obviously. The total is 30 games out of all of these players
Ooh,
that we've
shit.
missed out on points. A big chunk of those obviously is Nick Chubb going down in week 2. He accounts for 14 of those. But if you look at the rest of these players, we're talking about, again, Justin Jefferson, 3 total coming on his 4th week. Austin Eckler missed 3 or 4. Kelce with 1. Saquon 3. Cooper Cup, he was on IR to start the season. Amon-Ra St. Brown missed 1. Mark Andrews missed 1. These are all top 2 rounds in our Get Sunday covered draft. So I'm curious, this happens every single year. You know what I mean? You can't avoid this, but every time I wonder about this, like, do you take this into consideration when you're drafting at the beginning of the year, or even like, as the year progresses, you think about that, like, you invest so much time in this research and draft capital into these players, that some of these players are going to go down with injury. And we talked about this before, the season even started, in like, statistically speaking, the 101 for most fantasy drafts never finishes as the 101, or almost never finishes as the 101. So, like, do you think about that at all?
I mean, yes and no, because it every year every player has the risk of injury. I mean, it's a sport where you're gonna get hit. I mean, it's just a matter of,
Can't predict it.
can you take the hits? And yeah, you can't predict it. I mean, do I think this year I got lucky? Yes, but no, because I um as well was very much in consideration at the beginning of the season taking Chubb. Um he was my, in my put picking, and I was half tempted to take him in the first round. I didn't. I was hoping he would have gotten around to me in the second, but with where I was in the draft, I didn't think about it really. Um, and it's bound to happen, and to those teams that those injuries do happen to, it sucks, because when, especially if it's a player, that's out for the season, or you miss, 4 to 6 weeks, I mean, that's a good chunk of your season where you're hoping you have some depth on your roster to be able to kind of survive. And for instance, Hot Chub Time Machine with JJ, he was really trying to see what he could do to get anything trade done wise, because
Right.
he knew he was going to struggle without JJ, and I don't blame him. Um, yeah, I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's part of the game, and you got to kind of just hope and pray in that situation, and yeah, it's
I was
bound to
just
happen.
I was just curious about it, because I find myself in this position every year of, like, obviously you can't predict this type of situation, right? But you for those of us that have been playing for a long time, you have to know that these things happen, right? So, like, I feel like there would be some sort of competitive advantage of, like, at least trying to predict that. Like, we bet on everything. We make these parlays and these player bets, and these, even just these stardom situms in our lineup. Like, to some extent, we have to try to compensate in a way for how these injuries play out, because now, like, I'm looking at some of these teams even just after this last week, some of the trades and stuff that got made. Now, two of the biggest trades that have happened over the last couple of weeks, the quarterbacks for these players are done. You can't predict that, but like, damn, dude, every year, every single year, I reflect on all of the things that happen, and I look at these injuries, and I'm like, shit, we invest so much in these top tier picks, and every single year, like 45, 50% of them, you are not getting that same type of value out of.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
in the
to be
draft,
fair,
is it worth reaching towards something that's not as expensive?
I
You
mean,
know?
to be 100% fair to you, I at the beginning of the season when I was in the draft, I don't know why, but I had a gut feeling something was going to happen to Josh Allen this year, so I didn't take him. I don't ever wish to prey on a player's downfall, knock on wood,
Of course
but
not.
I just have this gut feeling that something's going to happen to him, and that's why I took Hurts. I don't know. I think it's paid off for me thus far because I think Jalen Hurts truly is going to be come the end of the season QB1. Um, but as the season progresses, I think their point differential is like 1 or 2 points. It's nothing crazy. I mean, they're right there neck and neck with each other.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I overall, you can't predict these things, and it's the name of the game, and it sucks when you lose a player of that value.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that speaks very heavily to you look at the bottom of our standings right now. We talk about bench don't kill my vibe and Amelia's army injury issues for sure. You know, Nick
Yeah.
Chubb goes down. Cooper Cup misses 4 games. Like it just sucks. Like obviously there is no method to that sort of madness, but it does make me wonder if there's some sort of value in magically planning for that in your draft strategy. Like I'm just going to reach for somebody that seems ridiculous during the draft. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But yeah, that's something you hate to see. I mean, you always want to see, the best players not get injured and shit happens. But
Indeed.
why don't we, my friend, jump into our week 7 recap?
Week 8, buddy. Week 8.
So week 7 was quite a wild week, as we could say.
Week
Yeah,
8,
I
buddy.
mean, oh yeah, week 8. Damn, I'm out of it today, folks. Been a long
Yeah,
day
you
of
just win so much, you just start losing track.
Hey, yeah, well, jumping into mine first.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, let's just do that.
I mean,
Here's an easy conversation.
is it pretty easy to say that this was kind of um I mean, I was 100% confident I was going to win this week, but I didn't think it was going to be by this much.
Well, go
70
ahead and break it down
points.
for us, man.
I mean, Jalen Hurts, 26 points, Kamara 27, DeAndre Swift, Amon Ra, Jamar Chase, Kittle, ETN.
Everybody on my team went off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's really the easy way to put it. To be fair, I got lucky with Mike Evans in that Thursday night game. I 100% was a little bit worried going into, those last couple minutes of the game, because I was like, Mike Evans has 1 point. Like he doesn't have Jack, and thankfully, he caught that touchdown with a couple minutes left. I texted you and I was like, dude, I should have started White over Evans, because at the time, I mean, White had 17 points, and I would say I got lucky with Evans getting that touchdown. That really kind of helped out. But yeah, I was definitely worried after that first game, because I was really thinking, oh, is this going to be an off week for my team? But I mean, taking a look at bench don't kill my vibe. Started Gardner Minshew, um, Aaron Jones, Rashawn Johnson. One weird thing to look at here, started both of the Chicago running backs. I
So
mean,
that's what I was gonna say. Like
I don't get it.
you didn't by no means did your team get lucky here. Your team has consistently been blowing up, right? Like your points for are straight dominating the rest of the league. You've got over
100
150 more than any other team in the league. However, when we look at this matchup, you're absolutely right. Like doubling up receivers and running backs.
Well, she here's the thing is Devontae Smith was on the bench. That would have helped bolster her team probably another almost 20 points. Um, yeah, I mean another 20 points essentially. So still wouldn't have mattered in retrospect, but I mean, if I think if you with my team, you have to have 140 points at the minimum to beat me. My team every week has put up 130 plus, except week 1.
I hate to say it, but I feel like you're right. Like if they continue to play the way that they're playing, you're coasting, you know. And on the flip side of it, for Whitney's team, I don't know what else to say, man. Like I know that she's trying, she's putting in this work, but like at this point in the season, if you don't make some sort of huge trade, like in my opinion, she needs to uproot this team and like move like 3 or 4 different players if
Yeah,
she wants to even have a chance, which she definitely could. Like you look at the East, the West is super tight. Like
yeah.
your points for are blowing everybody out, but you're still like we're still one game separates first through like fourth place, right?
First through
In the
fifth,
East, in the East, she's
or well,
one
yes, first
game
through
out.
fourth.
She's 1 or 2 games out of still having a chance in this. But
Right.
this late week waiver wire stuff that she's doing, like starting 2 Chicago running backs here, come on, man. Like that's not going to get it done, especially against a team like yours.
Right. And I mean, to be fair, I think she started the season, 2-2, and she's lost 4 straight.
Yeah. And next week, she's got Steeler virginity. Like it's not getting easier.
You're playing the West, and the West is the stronger division, and then you're going to have all these matchups against your division come week 10, and make a move, because I just don't think you're anywhere near the playoffs right now with your roster. You have
It's
to do something. Even if you're trading away a star player for 2 mid-level guys
that's what I
that are
mean.
scoring decently, you need to
Yeah.
do it. Like if you need to go get 2 players for one of your star player, do it. Like I know, for instance, she's struggling with running backs. Go try and make an offer to someone for a running back that is mid-level, and give them something decent in return, or go try and target 2 running backs that can turn around your team. She
Well,
doesn't
and
I
that's
I'll give it to her here. She doesn't struggle when it comes to receivers. She struggles when it comes to depth and running backs.
and that's my point. Like that's what I'm saying. Like at this point in the season, you're 2-6. You keep stringing together like decent scoring weeks, but you at this point, her and Amelia's army right now, like you have to win right now. Like you cannot afford to lose any of the next like 3 weeks, in my opinion. Like you need to win these. So in my mind, you got a shit quarterback. You're streaming a quarterback every week. Running back is super questionable. Take your best player in AJ Brown and shop him out. Sell him as high as you possibly can. Put him out there, take the highest bidder and say, start a bidding war between all of the, because I know I'm trying to get him. I know you've offered for him. I know Jordan's offered for him. I know probably Stefan has offered for him. Go shop him out. Like you've got the value right now. You have to make a move for this team or you are done.
Yep, I completely agree. I will be honest, I have a feeling that this team, if they don't make a move, they are definitely tanking for the toilet bowl, and I'm just gonna say it, to be fair.
But regardless, makes no difference here. Your team went off, man. Great job. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. Your team is going nuts right now. You're like we talked about it before, your running back trio right now. If you had shit for receivers, which you don't, your running backs would carry you to a dub most every week, honestly. Like you could drop your receivers and still win a matchup by 15 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, I to be fair, I was half tempted yesterday to just say fuck it and not even play a Monra. Um, but
yeah.
I want to continue to drive my points for up, and if Amonra would have went off and put up 30 points, and I would have been in all-time highest scores, I would have that would have been pretty sweet. And then I have a feeling that my team has a very good chance of breaking 200 at some point in this season. I've been there
I can see it.
within I've been right on the cusp, twice this season. I had 180, 6 this week, a couple weeks ago, or I had 190 plus. So I have a feeling that this year I could bust into the 200s, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. Let's hope it just happens during playoffs. Maybe that's the time it happens.
You shut your mouth.
All right,
I
well,
hope it happens on your bye week.
let's move on. Revenge of the Aints gave you an L.
Yeah.
All in all, this was a super close matchup, and it was on my radar all weekend, all day Sunday, and it was quite entertaining to kind of see the back and forth, and then towards the end, you kind of trying to claw your way back into this. So it was pretty entertaining to see. I mean, all in all, I mean, yeah, I said it last week that he was gonna beat you, and I got it spot on. And I just felt like he had what he needed to get the dub, and he managed to pull it off. Josh Allen helping him out, Eckler really helping him out there, and for
Oh
you,
yeah. Austin Eckler finally decides to show up. Yay.
yeah, seriously, I mean, for you can't be disappointed in your quarterback with Herbert throwing up 24, Tyreek throwing up 25, Ayuk, Mixon, like all in all, solid week. You know, Granted for you, um, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Jerome Ford. in Cleveland. I have a feeling that everything's starting to kind of go to Kareem Hunt, um, especially when it comes to those red zone touches, which really hurts you um, with him. But having him on your bench, like you said, it managed to get you the dub when it really mattered. That 1 week against me in week 3 paid off for you. But and I think all in all you'll be just fine. And I think this really helps just bolster Revenge of the Aints right into you know that first seed. With Draxum Clouds.
Yeah, hats off to Seven, man. He's put together a very solid roster, especially after the start that he had. And even when we had him on the show, we knew that this was coming, right? Like he knows how to put together a roster, and we knew that he was more than likely gonna be okay. My thing with my team right now, and I hate to admit it, but I feel like my team is very much a high floor, low ceiling type of team where like I know that I'm going to get a solid, 100 to 100 and, 15, 120 on a good day out of my team. But there's a lot of these other teams like Seven, for example, and then you mentioned yourself and Ryan and even, Jordan and even Joe this last week, where like these teams have that potential to blow up. And as I look at my roster here, like I don't know that it really does, especially when it comes to my running backs. Like Tony Pollard, I'm losing a lot of faith. You know what I mean?
Well,
Zay
I
Flowers,
mean,
it's boom or bust for him.
right. I
You
mean,
know,
even, the thing that really kind of sucked for you this week was that Denver Kansas City game, and Kansas City not getting into the end zone. That really, I expected Pacheco to get in the end zone at least once. And that would have won you the week. And it sucks. That was, like you said, it was a trap game for Kansas City, and look at what happens. Kansas City doesn't do much.
yeah, I'm disappointed in this loss, mostly on the the aspect of the standings and things, because I know that it's going to be um, a real knockdown, drag out fight in the West for that bye week. So, the heartbreaker loss to Cortland Sutton earlier in the year. Now this one to Revenge of the Aints. I'm still okay. Like I feel like I'm okay. I'm pretty confident in my schedule moving forward. However, I know that we're in the point in the season now where like these wins and losses, like they mean a lot. So I don't want to face this team again. I'll tell you that much. Like I hope he
Yeah.
has to scratch and claw into the playoffs, but I don't want to play him again.
Or
If
you
I'm being
hope he gets yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple teams in the playoffs right now that look pretty dangerous, and teams that you don't want to play. And, I I understand you when it comes to, Revenge of the Aints, because who knows what happens with Jonathan Taylor. If
Dalvin Cook.
DJ Moore gets Fields back, who knows how that's gonna go. Dalvin Cook, we know he just dropped Dalvin Cook actually.
Did he?
Yeah, 2 hours ago he
Oh,
dropped him. It's right here. So he just dropped him.
sweet. Good.
So which I
Because he
I
gets traded.
I know I talked with him on Sunday when we were doing our Zoom party. Um, and he really basically said, I'm picking him up in the event he gets traded. Nothing happens, I'm gonna drop him, and I would have done the same thing. I
Yep.
know some other people in other leagues that did the exact same thing, and it's a smart move. If you can get them and something happens, great. If not, it's just pretty simple. Just drop them and move on.
Right.
Let's jump into our next matchup here. Hot Shove Time Machine, man. I was wrong about this matchup last week. I said both these guys might struggle to get 100 points, and Hot Tub Time Machine said, "Fuck you." He said, how about I put up another 50 on it?" And then Cortland Sutton did the same thing, threw up, more than 100 points. Props to both of these guys. Hot Tub Time Machine, I think, taking a step in the right direction here. Gus Edwards having a phenomenal week.
Finally.
Burrow,
Yep.
Burrow going off. Yeah, I mean Waddle, and Joku. I mean, all in all, just a solid week from his roster. You know, yeah. I mean, you can't be disappointed here. Devontae, speaking of the Raiders, I actually got some
Breaking
breaking news
news.
for you. Raiders have fired head coach Josh McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler. So
About a year too late.
yeah, to be fair, I don't think Josh McDaniels is a head coach in the NFL to begin with after a stint in Denver. I think he should have just stayed an offensive coordinator with New England. But that's just my
Do you think
take,
he goes back
and
to New
I'm a New
England?
England fan. I doubt it. I don't think so. Yeah, I really don't. But who knows? Anything's possible. I just think this is really kind of the nail in the coffin for Josh McDaniels overall. Don't really think he needs to be anywhere within the league. If he gets anything, I do think it's an offensive coordinator position elsewhere. I just don't really think it's with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
This was
mean,
really nice to see from Hot Tub Time Machine. Hopefully, this is a step in the right direction. We mentioned that he was, in a bit of a slump. So hopefully, this is a sign. I think the trade for Saquon Barkley was a very nice move on his part, especially now with Kirk Cousins being down. I definitely think he won this trade. Justin Jefferson, I don't know if he's going to have value for the rest of the year. We'll see how that plays out. But the other thing that stood out to me in this matchup in particular is, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, Cortland Sutton dropped Joe Burrow. This, I think he was like, 1-4, 1-3, or something like that. And was like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I can't hang on to Joe Burrow. I need to move on. And then right away, Hot Tub Time Machine picks him up. This is the week that Joe Burrow goes off. 283 and 3. Like I think this was his biggest week of the year, honestly.
yeah.
But either way, that's got to be, kind of twisting the knife a little bit for Cortland Sutton. But I
Well,
talked to him. Yeah,
don't you hate when that happens? Because I know we've all been there playing fantasy football where you do drop a
100%.
player at some point in the season and then they, decide to go off the week they play you.
Yep. That's the
Whoever
worst.
picks them up, they play you, and the player you drop just decides, oh, I'm gonna just absolutely go off this week and throw up 25 plus, and then you're just like, well, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. And that could be said for, not that any of these players were necessarily dropped from other teams, but a lot of these players, Waddle, Gus Edwards, and Joku, all had their best week of the year
Yeah.
for this team. So it's like, shit, man, like you put it together. Like that's good management right there. Good start sits. Lockett had a great game. I feel for Cortland Sutton in this matchup. Like, what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, even if you put together a solid week like you did, 111 points, it's not anything to scoff at, but it's tough, dude. Like, in these 10-team leagues like this, you really got to get, like you said, at minimum 120 if you're trying to win.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is, some of these teams within our league, actually, I would say majority, a lot of them have, like you said, this high ceiling kind of, or high ceiling, low floor where it's, each week you're kind of on that roller coaster. There's like
Mhm.
no one that's really consistent. You know, besides I guess you and myself are really averaging over 100 points every week. But it's good to see kind of some of these teams start to kind of figure out their rosters a little bit more to where they are playing um, what they believe and what they think is going to perform best for them. So it's good to see kind of everyone hitting 100 plus more often, and you're not really seeing these low scoring teams. Yeah, but I mean, props to both these guys for breaking 100. They made me eat my words there. Jump into our next matchup here. Steeler Virginity. Um, Once again, Draxham's Clowns takes another L. That's 3 straight.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, what's
Yikes.
going on, man? I feel like this team has been really bitten by the bye weeks. Like he's had a tough go of it for sure. As I look at it here, streaming Goff, not a bad choice. I mean, he still won the quarterback matchup there over Lamar Jackson. Look at Jordan's side. I think that's his weak link on his team is Lamar Jackson. Again, another huge boom or bust player. But for Drax, man, it's tough. Like he's got these players like Chris Olave and like DK that is just you never know what you're really gonna get out of them. Either it's gonna be great or it's gonna be trash. And then you look at it at his depth, and like I'm not really interested in anything that he has on his bench either. Gabe Davis is another one of those players where like you can't rely on him. Obviously,
Nope.
he has his best week of the year, like great performance. That game was awesome. Like especially that big touchdown that he was so wide open on. Like obviously that was great, but like, do you want to put money on him having that same type of game next week? I don't.
No. It's like I said, Gabe Davis is one of those players for sure that's definitely on that roller coaster where one, he may have a really good week one week, and then the next 2 or 3 he's mediocre.
I feel like with Drax, and I hate to even like give this analogy, but I feel like him and I have a very similar team where there's 2 or 3 players max that you can completely rely on. For him, Christian McCaffrey, Mark Andrews, Keenan Allen. He knows what he's going to get out of them. The rest of them, it's a crapshoot, dude. And that's what's happened over the last couple of weeks. Again, like obviously he's dealt with some bye weeks here, but if you look at this team moving forward, I don't know, man. Like it's going to be interesting. Next week he's got Ryan.
Yeah, one great taste. That's going to be another. He might
with
lose 4 straight.
with McCaffrey on a bye next week.
Oh yeah,
So
that's.
if
Yeah,
he
that's. Ooh.
if he drops another one next week, and you and Seven face each other next week, obviously we're going to get into the week 9 preview, but this could get ugly for Drax if he drops another one next week, buddy. Like this could get really interesting.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, it definitely can. But I mean, looking at the other side of the board, um, big thing that stands out is CD Lamb, obviously. 41
What a week.
points. Uh, yeah, what a week for CD there. But I mean, overall, you look head to head, that's really what set the difference. And CD doesn't have that week, gets an average week. Draxton Skunks wins this game.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
you look at that and CD puts up 41 points. What stands out to me here is Steeler Virginity really had not a fantastic week. He managed to get the win, but very underwhelming the rest of his roster. Like you said, Lamar, Mostert, Christian Kirk. Obviously, losing Waller early didn't help. Puka not really being productive. Then you look at his bench and you go, okay, McLaurin, solid week. Bourne, solid. Unfortunately, you lose him the rest of the year.
So I want to get into that a little bit farther, actually, for just a second. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but Waller, he's going to miss at least another week, I would bet. Puka Nacua, how long is Stafford going to be out? Then you look at the trade that he made for Justin Jefferson.
Or
Hang on to
Laporta.
him for as long as you want, but like, they have, I don't know. I don't see Josh Dobbs goes to Minnesota, right?
Yep. I'll be honest.
Does Justin
Minnesota's
Jefferson hold his value with Josh Dobbs?
no. And to be 100% transparent, I don't think Minnesota is going to be rushing Justin Jefferson to get back.
That's my point. Like, this team,
There's no reason now.
Steeler Virginity essentially lost 4 players this week.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I don't mean
and
as in
don't
like,
forget he traded Laporta for Puka, and now Laporta at the end of the day, I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, Amelia's Army won this trade because yes, who knows how long Stafford's going to be out, but you also look at it. The Rams aren't really, I would say, they're on the ropes in terms of playoff contention, but not really. And Detroit is flowing along great, and Laporta looks fantastic.
yeah. No, I agree. It's concerning to me for this team that he's put a lot of work into this lineup. But it's frustrating to see a lot of risk here.
Yeah.
With these players. Like,
Yeah.
his players like Mostert and CeeDee Lamb, and even you look at Garrett Wilson, they're going to have to do this every single week if he wants to remain competitive.
Yep. I completely agree.
It looks like a pretty easy, I don't want to say easy matchup for him next week, but he should have a favorable matchup next week, so I think he'll be okay, but I'm curious to see what the future holds for this team for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Jump into our last matchup here. Down goes the reigning champ with another loss. I will be the first to say it. I'm once again sticking to it. Your week was a fluke, Seamus, against me. You haven't done shit all season besides that 1 week. So yeah, you got lucky. Your players decided to go off 1 week, and yeah, otherwise,
Yeah.
I think you're on a downfall, and I don't think you make playoffs this year. And if you do, you better make some moves because, to be quite honest, you can't afford to lose another 2 games. Any of these 2-6 teams, if you finish with 8 losses, you're not making playoffs.
You're not getting
It's far too, no. With where everyone else is at, 4-4, 5-3. That's where majority of people are. Yeah, you're not really making playoffs. There's 4 people right now at 5-3. Or above.
Like, what's crazy too is, like, you look at this team, like, if you were to like read this team to me at the beginning of the season, I'd be like, shit, like, I'm kind of scared of this team, you know what I mean? Tua, Ken Walker, Stevenson, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Sam Laporta, Adam Thielen, Jacoby Myers. Scary, right? But there's no consistency out of anybody except for like Adam Thielen. You know what I mean? Like
Thielen and Laporta. That's all you get. Consistency out of. I would put Laporta in there. You can rely on. I mean, especially at the tight end position, at least he's reliable. He's going to get you 10 plus points a game, and when it comes to tight ends, that's all you need. Unless your name's Travis Kelce, you're not
Yeah.
getting a high ceiling there, and that consistency. But even then, you know, Laporta outscored Kelce this week, so
And
there
here's
you
the
have
other
it.
thing too, like he loses Kirk Cousins, so you know he's going to drop him for sure. He's going to be picking up somebody on the waiver wire tonight, but he's still got 3 Rams players, and
Yeah.
he's benching 2 of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. Like, I love it because down with the champ, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But like, I hate to say it, but like, we told you, dude. We told you, like, this is what's gonna happen, and it's not getting easier for you. Next week looks favorable in the matchup right now, but this is one of those teams right now. Like, I don't have high hopes for it.
No. Yeah, me either. And to be quite fair, I'm kind of happy because in a way I played him this week in the Reaper League. I managed to get some revenge on him, beat him in that
Attaboy.
league. So uh makes me a little bit more happy there. To at least squeeze out a win over him in
Soften the
another
blow a little
league
bit.
that not get, 0-2 in the 2 matchups I play him this season. So all in all, totally okay with that. So jump into just take a look at, kind of the standings right now. One great taste running the league.
Yeah,
I made a pretty
let's
good.
talk about Ryan a little bit. We mentioned it quietly, but he's crushing it, dude.
Yeah.
He's putting together some good wins here. He had a great week with Brees Hall. I think it's going to continue. Jahmyr Gibbs finally showed up. This was a great trade for him. Pittman, I don't know if you listen to the other analysts, but like they're there for him, man. With Minshew at quarterback, like
Yeah.
a down week for Patrick Mahomes, but other than that, everybody else showed up. Like this could be good. I'm curious to see what happens with Addison now that Kirk Cousins is gone. But like this team's
Yeah,
strung together
that's
a lot of really good wins here. So well deserved for him to find himself right up there at number 1.
I completely agree. Yeah. I managed to jump up in the standings to number 2 overall, based off of points for, but yeah, like we've said, I'm just absolutely blowing everyone out in terms of points for. I could basically sit a whole week and still would probably have highest points for at the end of the season.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's I would be willing to bet that if we took the average, points scored per team per week, you've probably got a week up on everybody on your
Yeah.
points for.
I mean, 150, that's definitely tells me that I have a week up on everyone already. I mean, you would have to put up a good amount against me. Like I said, if you want to beat me, you have to put up over 130, 140.
Yeah. And you move on. You got myself sitting there at 3rd place, pretty much right there neck and neck. You've got me in points for, but I do have the tiebreaker there. So it's you, me, Jordan, and Stefan sitting in 5 and 3, 7, 1 game behind, and then everybody else 3 and 5 or worse. So we're looking pretty good as we move into week 9 of this season. Want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that the trade deadline is next week. So don't forget, if you're trying to make some moves, it's trades or waiver wire, and that's all you get.
Well, it's week
So.
10, right? Not next week.
Yeah, sorry, not next week, the following week. So like we're talking about week 9 coming up the following week. Week 10 is our trade
Yes.
deadline.
Yes. I guess next podcast would be leading into week 10. So yes, I understand what you mean now.
My bad.
Well, just to kind of recap right now, we do our weekly pick'ems. We started this in week 3. So there's been 30 matchups since. You, my friend, are 18 and 12. So not too bad. I am managed to squeeze by you by one game. 19 and 11. We both went 3 and 5 on the week. Biggest difference this week was I had Revenge of the Aints over you, and you had Steeler Virginity over Draxxam Sclounce, which ended up leveling us. Only game we both truly lost was Cortland Slut.
Yeah. I can't believe we didn't
So,
start this until week 3. That annoys me. I wish we would have started this to begin the year.
yeah, but I mean, it's cool to kind of see the progress that we've made with the podcast in that time, and kind of the new ideas that we come up with in throughout the season, with this being our first year. So it's only going to get better, and I'm really excited to kind of see, as everything progresses down the line, what's in store. And we'll touch more on that a little bit later, about kind of what's in store down the line. Let's jump into week 9, my friend. Wow.
Do it.
I
Let's
mean,
run through these.
this is essentially we're halfway through fantasy football right now. 8.5 weeks essentially. There's only 17 weeks within our whole season, so it's kind of, it's sad. This is the midweek, I guess, per se, in the season, right?
I mean, it goes so fast, dude. It's such a bummer.
Yeah, it sucks, but I'm excited to see everything kind of play out throughout the rest of the year, and I think there's going to be some really fun matchups to see week in and week out. Let's jump right into the first matchup here. I got myself Tiggle Gritties taking on Revenge of the Aints, and I am excited for this matchup. This is the one time a year that I play Revenge of the Aints, and I'm really excited because I get that, I get the Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen matchup this week in terms of head to head. So I'm excited to see how this goes down for me.
Yeah.
This is the one week I have a feeling that, this is the week where it's going to either hurt me that I didn't take Josh Allen, or I'm going to be happy that I took Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I look forward to this as well, and I fully expect some real serious shit talking out of you two. This is gonna be a fun one to watch. It's gonna go into Monday night, I imagine. He's got Eckler playing on Monday night. Um,
I don't have anyone, so
yeah,
he'll be clawing back. I presume I'll have the lead going into Monday night, so we'll see how much that gap is.
if I just take a moment here to break down the matchups here, it's Hurts versus Allen, like you mentioned. To be honest with you, man, I don't really like his matchup versus Dallas. It's in Dallas, right? Is it? Yeah, I think it's in Dallas. And this is a division game. And I think it's going to be chippy, dude. I don't know what the over-under is for this game, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of offense, if I'm honest with you. So I'm concerned that Hurts is going to come far under that projection of 22 points of his. Kamara, the only person that Derek Carr wants to throw the ball to is Alvin Kamara, so I'm happy with that.
Dump and
Swift,
go.
what's up?
Dump and go. That's all they're doing. Screens all day.
Yep. And Swift in that same Dallas matchup, we'll see, man. I like I said, I think it's going to be a chippy game, but I think across the board, the only real concern I have here is DJ Moore, but I hate to say it, but I might take 7 in this one just because I really need him to beat you. So I'm going to try to put that out there.
Like I did last week with you.
Yeah, exactly. I would really love to see that happen. So I'm going to take 7 in this one.
Okay. I'm obviously going to take myself in this matchup. I think it's really going to come down to, like you said, that Philly Dallas game, but I also think for me it's coming down to Hurts versus Allen. And then I'm really curious to see kind of where this plays out for me. Granted, I think I'm gonna probably make a couple moves in terms. I don't like myself playing my quarterback, playing my own defense. When I have 2 players in this matchup, technically I guess 3 on my team, kind of going head to head. So I'll probably, to be fair, put in Pittsburgh's D this week. Just because they're playing Tennessee, and I think that's favorable to them very much. Really curious to kind of see how Kincaid plays out Sunday night. Obviously, I have Kittle on a bye this week, ETN on a bye, and Amon-Ra. So those are some high point scorers for me, which in a way does help Revenge of the Aints. But if I'm able to squeeze this out, I'll be more than happy. It looks like he really only has Evan Ingram on a bye. So if I'm able to squeeze out a win this week, I'll be really happy with that. But I definitely agree with kind of where the projection for my team is at right now. I think I might struggle to put up 130 this week, to be 100% honest.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good one to watch for sure.
Jump into our next matchup. Touchdown there, yourself versus Hot Tub Time Machine. I mean, all in all, this is a decent matchup. I will say I'm scared to see Pacheco against that Miami defense. I don't know how much he's gonna be able to run the ball on him. But I do think that it helps that Miami has Jalen Ramsey back, because I think he'll probably be covering Kelsey for this game. And with that, I think they're going to have to play the ball to Pacheco or McKinnon, maybe. But it'll probably be quite a few screens in this game, which could help you tremendously when it comes to Pacheco.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. After seeing the week that he put up last week, I'm pretty nervous about this matchup. So I need my running backs to show up, and like you said, Pacheco is going to have a tough one. Pollard's going to have a tough one. Mixon, not as bad. I'm not as concerned about that, but dude, I need him to show up this week. I've got Ayuk on a bye. Both my Broncos on a bye this week. I would have loved to play Javonte Williams after his best week of the year. Hopefully that means when he comes back from the bye, he's still great. But if these guys don't show up this week, I'm in trouble because I like his matchups here. I think Joe Burrow's going to have a fun day with Buffalo. It's a rematch of one of the playoff games a couple years ago. I think that's going to be a fun one to watch. Barkley's going to have a heyday against the Raiders. Gus Edwards, that's his backfield now, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This could be another one of those games for me where we thought the West was going to run the East, and I don't know. I may drop 2 in a row. I'm obviously going to vote for myself, but I got to be honest and say that I'm not 100% confident about it.
I will say I'm gonna take you in this matchup this week. I think you managed to squeeze out the win. I do think, but it is gonna be a very, very close matchup all in all. Very curious. I think the thing that might help you is depending upon this Cleveland game. If Cleveland starts to, I mean, is Watson going to be back? That's a big question.
Are they
How's
better
that?
or worse without Watson, to be honest?
Yeah, I mean that's another question: is are they better or
You
worse?
know what I
Because
mean? Like, leave him out if you have to. Who cares?
I mean Cleveland's not looking too bad right now as is. If this game starts to become a blowout, I do foresee Kareem Hunt taking over this backfield. But
At least
I
as far
wouldn't be
as touchdowns go, anyway.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this game starts to kind of get blown out to see Ford more in those red zone touches, getting the ball.
Yeah.
Jump into our next matchup here, Amelia's Army, Cortland Sutton. I I like this matchup. I think, obviously both of these teams have struggled throughout the season. Um, kind of maybe look ahead to kind of who is going to be going towards the toilet bowl. Um, Obviously projection is going to change here. Like we said, Kirk Cousins is going to get dropped. I mean, all in all, I think the big thing that probably stands out to me here is how does the Raiders bounce back? Um, after yesterday, and also with new coaching at the helm. We'll kind of see how that plays out.
Right.
I think, it's good to see T. Higgins back. Um, Curious to see what happens with Cooper Cup. I I'll say it. I'm worried about Cooper Cup right now. Just like I am with Puka, like we've said. How long is Stafford going to be out, and how much is that going to affect these guys
Yeah.
and down the line? Obviously, Laporte is not going to play. Ridley's out. Both of these guys out on a bye. There's 4 teams on a bye this week: Broncos, Lions, Jaguars, and 49ers. So make sure you have your roster set properly. I don't mind kind of the um, offset here, I guess, per se, of Diggs versus Higgins. I don't mind that. I think, both Hurts and Burrow are going to be slinging, or not Hurts, Allen and Burrow are going to be slinging the ball all night. So I
Agreed.
am excited for that game. Looks like this will go into Monday. Um, Other thing that, I forgot to mention is we got to remember Kansas City versus Miami is in Germany. Um,
That's right, huh?
so
That's a morning game.
so it's not necessarily a home game for anyone. It's a neutral
That's
site per
true.
se. So it'll be interesting to see how that game plays out. Um, I forgot to mention that earlier, but definitely wanted to as I thought
Tyreek Hill,
about it.
4 touchdowns.
Which in the end would only help Amelia's Army with Tua at the helm here.
Yeah.
All in all, in this matchup, do I would say I do kind of like Cortland Sutton getting the win here.
Let me ask you well, it's a personal question, but I guess it's on the pod, so everybody's gonna know. Have you made any offers for Bijan?
No,
Because I did, and he got mad at
I know
me
you did.
because I guess I was one of like 3 people that tried to. Do you think what do you think about that? Does Cortland Sutton need to make a move, or has he just had shit luck so far?
I think he needs to make a move. I mean, he's sitting right on the cusp of playoffs. I think one decent, maybe two decent moves can definitely uh get his team into squeeze. I mean, he's one game back right now, so he is right there on the cusp. So I mean, we'll see where it plays out, but yeah, I think he makes one, maybe two moves. He could be right there. And to be fair, I think kind of everyone was on the Bijan train to start the season, and now it's kind of died down. And maybe you just try and sell him right now while you can, and get the value out of him, because if he starts to
What would
kind
you
of
try to get if you were selling Bijan? What would you be looking for as the owner of this team? I'm just curious because, I'm not asking you to like tell him how he should run this team, but like where would you improve here? For me, I think it's the quarterback. I'd be trying to
I
honestly like
to be fair though, he has no depth at running back. He has two running backs on his roster. He needs another running back.
yeah.
I'd target a running back right now. Shoot your shot, see what you get. Try and maybe even sell Bijan for, you know, a mid-level quarterback and a mid-level running back, but try and see what you can get. Because right now, yeah, I don't know what you can really do there.
Yeah, because Bijan's got a bye coming up soon.
Yeah, and that's where he's going to struggle, is he doesn't have any depth. So the minute Bijan's on bye, he's going to the waiver wire, and there's no
There's
one out there.
nobody there.
There's no one there. Everyone's picked up that's putting up decent numbers. I mean, unless you're going and picking up a second string and you're hoping that their team blows whoever they're playing out of the water, or you're hoping a third string just so happens like Chicago's manages to score a freaking touchdown this week. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Who you taking in this?
I think I'm gonna. Whew, I would like to answer this after I see what happens on the waiver wire tomorrow. However, I think I'm also going to go with Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
I think he's going to put it together, and I'm concerned about what's going to happen with Amelia's army here.
Okay. Jump into our next matchup. Steeler virginity, bench don't kill my vibe. I mean, I'm not gonna put it out there, but or I'm
Not a
not
ton
gonna.
needs to be said, I don't think.
Yeah. Unless bench don't kill my vibe makes a move between tomorrow and Saturday, I don't foresee Steeler virginity losing this game at all. I don't think it's.
Yeah, I bet you he goes in with his fab. He's going to pick up Trey McBride, who I believe is, yeah, he's going to pick up Trey McBride. He's going to fill that void in his roster. It's I don't know how else to break this down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be an asshole, but like, look at his team. You know what I mean? Like this, in theory, on paper, should be a pretty easy win for him right now, projected at 68%, and that's even at a low projection for him at 115. So once he fills that other spot, you know, obviously she's going to put some work into her lineup too, but
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, prediction will
history
change
tells us
slightly,
that
but
it's not going to be anything that's going to buy her a win.
so here's a question for you. Do you worry about, I mean, I know you mentioned Trey McBride. Do you worry about him playing with possibly Kyler? What's your look on that dynamic? He's been
To be
playing
honest
with
with you,
Dobbs.
I hadn't really thought about that, and yeah, that's actually a really good point. Well, like I said, I mean, that fully depends on whether or not he actually does pick up McBride. But on that topic, yeah, I would be concerned about that because I don't believe that Kyler's going to be everything that they need him to be on his first game back. I bet he takes a game or two.
I mean, we
I'm
all know he's
surprised.
just been sitting at home playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, well, so is Steeler virginity, so maybe they have that in common.
Yeah. Maybe he should go pick up Kyler Murray and drop Lamar.
He said today in the group chat, he said, no, Kyler Murray needs to stay on waivers because he's trash.
Or is
I
that
don't know,
just a plot for him to convince
to
everyone
sneakily get in there and do
to
it.
sneak him? Yeah,
He would pull some shit like that.
yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee Bench Don't Kill My Vibe winning this game. In my eyes, this is a pretty easy call for me to be completely transparent. I think Steeler Virginity runs this game and doesn't really struggle at all.
Same.
Jump into our last matchup. Man, this one, tail of the one seeds in each division. So I will say right now, this is going to be entertaining. Obviously, Goff and McCaffrey being out for Drax definitely hurts. Curious to see what he gets at quarterback because he's going to need that quarterback to have a decent week. And then looking at running backs, does he play Warren? I mean, does he move Wilson up and then play Gabe Davis?
But I mean, dude, like it doesn't
I
look good
I
for Drax.
I don't think this looks good for Drax either. And yeah,
Like
I mean,
what awful timing for him, honestly. Like you've dropped 3 in a row, and now you're coming up on maybe your most impactful bye week against the number 1 team in the league. Like that sucks, dude.
yeah,
McCaffrey's not playing. That's one of, let's
it's
say,
25 points.
that's what I mean. And that's one of what we said, 3 players that you should be able to count on week after week. And you got to
Yeah,
play the best team in the league.
at least at the moment, right? So, I mean, granted, I'm rooting for Drax because one great taste is
Same.
in our division.
Same.
But I really don't think he wins this
It's
matchup.
how is he
And
gonna replace that? You know what I mean? Who's he gonna pick up to? He's
you're not.
we
You're not.
we said this at the beginning of the year. I think if he would have made a move in like week 2 or 3 to shore up a more reliable, consistent quarterback, who that would have been, I don't know. But at this point, like if you're gonna go stream somebody, like let's see who's available right now. Dak, Derek Carr, Geno, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, sure, but their ceiling is maybe 17 points.
Yeah.
Against Patrick Mahomes in a shootout game.
I don't like
Nothing.
it.
I'm scared of that. So
Only thing
like
that can help Drax
when-
this week is seeing how Addison and Dobbs plays out. Now, I don't think Dobbs will play this week. Obviously after just being traded, but it'll be interesting to see how Addison progresses. But yeah, I mean, I
so I
don't
mean,
like
I,
Drax chances here.
I wish we could make these projections after waivers go through, but obviously we record on Tuesday nights. So as it stands right now, man, One Great Taste has got my vote for sure. Can't vote
Yeah,
against him.
I completely
He's on a roll,
agree.
man. He's gotten hot, and quietly, everybody should be on notice for this team.
I agree. I agree there. I mean, it is going to be it's going to be curious to see, man. I'm very curious to see kind of as things play out, um, where that team is going to go.
Well, that's our week 9 preview. I think it's going to be interesting. We've had such a great season so far. I'm really excited, but I'm also disappointed that it's gone so fast, man. I wish we could do fantasy football all year long, but it is
Oh, I
what it
love it.
is. We are getting there. You want to take us into our next section there, big guy?
Yeah, I mean, let's do it. Time for my weekly bets. We'll jump
Brandon's
right into
bets.
it. I got 2 picks in right now. Nice little 9-pick
I can't
parlay
see that.
here.
Make that shit bigger, man.
All right, let's see. I don't know if I can change the font size here. I'm gonna try.
You're good. You don't have to make it bigger. I'm just kidding. You can talk about it.
But what I can do is I can do this. Is it not gonna let me? Of course not. All right, well, jump into this. Obviously, I'll hope to fix this. Bear with me 1 second, actually. I'll fix this real quick. This might help. Oh, it's not gonna work. Of course not. No worries. Jump into it. Nice little 9-pick parlay here for the week. This is kind of a Hail Mary play this week. I don't really have a player prop one yet. I'll roll that out later in the week. But 9-pick parlay. I'm gonna take Tennessee money line. I'm gonna take Kansas City and Miami over 51. I think that game's gonna be a shootout. I'm gonna take Arizona money line. I'm gonna take Seattle to cover
Really?
this. Yeah, I'm gonna take Seattle to cover the spread of 5.5. I'm gonna take the Rams money line. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay money line. I'm gonna take Philly money line. I'm gonna take the Giants money line, and I'm gonna take the Chargers money line. Plus 1,000 odds. So $10 turns into 10,000. Point blank, simple. From there, other parlay I have Thursday night football. I'm gonna take first half and end of game winner to be the Titans at plus 220. I'm gonna take the Titans in the first half. Over 32.5 total points. Pickens over 53.5 receiving yards. D Hop over 54.5. I'm gonna take Levis over 208.5 passing yards. That's total a 6-pick parlay for plus 2,200, almost 2,300. $10 turns into 239, almost 240.
How did you do on your bets last week?
Didn't do too bad. To be fair, didn't really win much in football, but I managed to do really well in basketball. So not disappointed. Still in the green on the at the end of the weekend. I was up about 2 units. So not too bad there. At the end of the weekend. So couldn't be disappointed there. Yeah, I mean, all in all, bets are looking solid. I'm pretty amped, moving forward. I'm growing confidence week in and week out with my betting, and I think it's kind of nice to be able to kind of find this, kind of happy medium right now where I'm at. With all sports going on, I feel like I'm really kind of finding my flow between all different kind of sports. I mean, to be fair, I put in a tennis bet earlier. So
Nice. All right, man. Well, thanks for that. Let's get it wrapped up here pretty quick. We've been chatting long enough tonight, I think. So let's go ahead and close it out here if you're ready to do so. I want to take a moment and just thank everybody once again for joining us for another episode of the Get Sunday Covered podcast. Obviously, this is a work in progress, and we have a lot of this to thank to you, Brandon, for putting all this work in. So for everybody that's listening, I want to take this opportunity to officially announce Brandon as another co-commissioner to Get Sunday Cover. Officially moving forward, he is going to have co-commissioner capabilities and input as far as the league goes. He's put a ton of work into not only putting this podcast together, but just been super involved in discussions throughout the league and things like that. And that is also part of what's going to be going on moving forward. I want to have his brain power and his ideas and things with a lot of what we have planned for you guys moving forward. So Brandon, on behalf of myself and the rest of GSC, thank you so much for everything that you've done so far. And we're really excited to have you in the league and really excited to have you helping me make decisions as far as things that move forward. So do you have any thing that you want to say in regards to what we may see in the future?
yeah, I mean, to be fair, you're gonna see a lot of um growth, I think, within GSC. I think there's a lot that we have upcoming that I'm really excited about. You and I, we've been really working hard on the back end with some back end stuff that we're trying to do come next year, and I'm just excited to see it come to fruition. And I think once we really, like I said on last pod, that Pro Bowl weekend, when we roll out that podcast, I think it's really going to build the hype for next season. I really
I agree.
think I really think that next year it is going to be, I mean, I wouldn't say more fun, but I think it's definitely going to be quite a significant change overall within just GSC as a core. And I'm excited for it. I think we have some big plans made, and I think people are really not ready for what we have. And I think they, when they hear what we have coming to fruition, it's just going to really get the hype going, especially come when we do, our mid summer party, end of season party, whenever that is, pre-draft party, whatever you want to call it. I think that's really going to be a super fun time to really kind of, for us to kind of see where everyone's at and see how this league is going to proceed forward. but I think we have a lot of great ideas, and I think you and I really have kind of a firm grip on the future. I think there's a lot of things that we're really going to be able to do to not only help GSC but benefit GSC as well. I think there's a lot of benefits that we're going to have for people within the league, and there's going to be quite a bit down the line that people are going to be excited about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. You guys, this is we just want to be clear, like nothing is changing for GSC, the league. Everything's going to continue to operate the same way that it has. But I do think having Brandon involved into a lot of this has been very helpful, and it's going to continue to be very helpful. We'll call him our director of digital creativity, if you will. He has put all of this stuff together for us, and I think what you've seen so far is just going to continue to get better and better. So we're excited to have him on board and making these things happen for us. So again, Brandon, thank you so much. Congratulations and welcome to the commissioning party.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. That's all we got for episode 8, man. I'm excited to talk to everybody in the next week or so. Maybe we can get somebody on this weekend. If you guys want to be on the show, let us know, man. Hit us up.
Yeah, for sure.
We want to get you on here and talk some shit, make fun of you a little bit.
And folks, don't forget to drop a like, comment. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You can always hit us up if you have any hot questions. We'll definitely address them in our commissioner corner. We haven't had any as of late, Cody. We got to get something, right? Something's got to come across here sooner or later.
Love to talk about something.
But just be sure to always hit us up to get your guys' Sundays covered. We will see you next week, folks.